Yo soy un profesional, como siempre lo he demostrado, arriba y abajo del ring, soy lo mejor. El Dandy reconoció la calidad ahorita de Silver King y, ¿sabes? Me dijo, no cambias, sigues como siempre, y de eso se trata. ¿Por qué? Porque este es mi trabajo, esta es mi profesión, este es mi sentir, esto es lo que yo soy, y el Mucha Crema lo puede avalar. Señor, diga lo que es Silver King, por favor.
Silver King es luchador, actor, artista y un extraordinario personaje. Aún lo recuerdo en Nacho Libre. En la película ya se les olvidó cómo actuó como Ramsés.
Señor, es el único mexicano que ha visitado y ha pisado los estudios Universal en Hollywood. Ni Mil Máscaras, ni Blue Demon, ni El Santo, ni Las Momias, ni Guanajuato, ni nada. Silver King es el mejor por siempre.
Hey, ¿qué tal, amigos? Les habla Bandido y no olviden escuchar este podcast por Tiger Driver Radio.
And welcome to another week of professional wrestling. This is Tiger Driver Radio for all things New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, AEW, the Indies, and everything else in between. This is your main man, J to the P, alongside
Juicy J.
Yeah. Yeah. I was feeling that, man. I was feeling that.
You like that one?
Yes. Best one ever.
Party time.
Party time, man. Party time. But, you know, I'm in a great mood, but unfortunately we got to start off the show on a little bit of a somber note. Mm-hmm. This past weekend, what we are kind of lamenting the loss of famous luchador Silver King, who was born Cesar Cuauhtemoc Gonzalez Baron, and a lot of you may know him as Ramses from the Nacho Libre movies. He spent a lot of time wrestling for AAA, Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre, CMLL. A lot of you may even know him during his stint in WCW, where he did not wear his mask. And of course, he was definitely an innovator, someone that was world travel. The guy wrestled everywhere. And we just wanted to give our condolences out to Silver King and his family as well, which also includes Dr. Wagner Jr. He is the brother of Dr. Wagner Jr. as well as, the son of the original Dr. Wagner. Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to give our condolences out to that family. And like I said, the best thing we can do is to keep Silver King's memory alive, not only through film because of Nacho Libre, but to also celebrate his catalog of matches, man. The guy has wrestled everyone and anyone and has won titles amongst all major promotions throughout the world.
He did so many things for wrestling, and he's going to be missed.
Absolutely. I even think Eric Bischoff even said, on TMZ that Silver King was one of the luchadors that did, in fact, change professional wrestling during that influx of luchadors that comprise the cruiserweight division, and probably does not get enough credit that he deserves.
Yeah, some people even say that he's better than his brother, Dr. Wagner Jr.
Which I love Dr. Wagner Jr. Yeah. I was a fan of Dr. Wagner Jr. in the 90s as well. But we wanted to give our condolences once again to the memory of Silver King. And on that note, let's kind of shift things off to a more positive note, man. Another thing that we're going to talk about a little bit later is, for the first time in 20 years, man, wrestling will be back on TNT.
It's back.
It's back.
Hopefully not another WCW, but it's back.
It's back. Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
It's crazy, man, because it's like, I remember as a kid growing up, it was all about, do you watch WWF/E? Do you watch WCW? And some of us watched ECW. I liked watching all three, but I was mainly from like 95 to like 98. I was really into WCW because of the cruiserweights. And then ECW, I watched loyally from like 94 all the way onwards. And then, of course, I watched WWF because Stone Cold Steve Austin was like my favorite.
Yeah.
But it's exciting, man. I'm getting excited just like I did back in the mid 90s again. And the problem is, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. I talked about, even before we started the show, I told you that it's super hard to keep up.
Yeah.
There's so much good stuff. Like, where do I even begin? Like, I can't tell you people on this show, we want to cover so much, and it's just, realistically, we can't right now.
Yeah. And also, if we cover everything, it'll be like a 4-hour long or longer show.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody has time nor patience to listen to
watch that or to listen to that.
Exactly. I mean, it was already bad enough, that, Endgame was like a couple of hours. People were like, "Oh man, this is super long."
Yeah.
But it was good. It was awesome. I don't know. You're not a Game of Thrones fan, are you?
Well, I haven't started watching it. I haven't even watched the first episode.
Oh Jesus, man! The beauty is that the show ends this Sunday, and then you'll have 8 seasons worth of like stuff to binge. So at least you don't have to wait anymore.
Yeah, which is what I did with a few other shows. I just waited for them to finish and then just watched the whole thing from the beginning to end.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot though for Game of Thrones. That's a lot of episodes. How many episodes is it? Like how many seasons or episodes?
8 seasons, and the first
It's like so many, right?
1 through 7, I believe, is 10 episodes.
Yeah,
And then the last one's 6, but some of them are a little bit longer than an hour.
that's a lot.
Yeah, man. Well, there was just, I don't know. I can't, I was going to say something and make a reference, but now I feel bad. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah, don't say anything.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. You fucked that up, man.
Stop. Don't say anything.
God, you really fucked it. I was going to go on, I was going to make a point, and now you fucking ruined it.
You need to wait for me till this time next year and tell me.
I bet I'll put money on it. You will not finish Game of Thrones
In a year?
in a year. Not because you can't.
Just
but
all the wrestling stuff that.
Exactly. I just don't think you. I don't think you can. You know. No, it's not that I don't think you can. I just don't think you. I think you won't.
Yeah.
Because you got a bunch of like for me. Like I love pro wrestling, but man, if I watched all the pro wrestling that I truly wanted to, I wouldn't watch anything else, and I wouldn't have a life. And I just like, dude, kind of need a life. You know, a little bit. As much as I love pro wrestling, pro wrestling's my favorite thing in the world. But you know, sometimes
It can consume you.
It can.
if you let it.
Exactly. And I think now more than ever, man, we have fucking options upon options. And now AEW has their show on TNT, and I'm fucking stoked.
Yeah, I mean, I got even goosebumps thinking about it, man. All the wrestling we have now.
All the wrestling we have now.
Yeah.
And in fact, wrestling that has, devoted fan bases.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and next weekend is Double or Nothing, dude. And I'm fucking excited.
Yeah. Double or Nothing, man. And then Starcast and everything.
Starcast and everything. Yeah. Are you going to be watching some of the Starcast activities?
Yeah, I'm going to try to.
Try to. Yeah.
Part of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try my best. I know for sure I will watch Double or Nothing. It's a little hard for me because of the fact that like I will be in New York for a wedding next week. So go figure.
You have to figure out where to watch it.
Absolutely, man. But speaking of, man, another thing that's been consuming a lot of our time this past week is the Best of the Super Juniors.
It's the Super Juniors. Yes, sir.
And besides the G1 Climax, this is also my favorite part of the year. I love watching
Best of Super Juniors.
Best of the Super Juniors. And in fact, it's been a really hot opening.
Reminds you of the WCW Cruiserweights or what?
Well, no. I mean, I remember for me, the Best of the Super Juniors, the thing that I always compare any Best of Super Juniors that I've ever watched throughout the years, it always goes back to 1995 for me when people were into tape trading.
Yeah.
People were super like there's always these tapes that all tape traders back in the 90s wanted. Like everybody knows like, oh, Extreme Warfare Volume 2 with Kimono Wanalea stripping atop the ECW arena, and then the match between Tommy Dreamer and Primetime Brian Lee where he falls off the top of the scaffold through tables. Yeah. And then there's the famous Super J Cup, which is like featured Liger, Hayabusa, Super Delphine, and a young Chris Jericho. Like, so, and you see all these like amazing cruiserweights in that one year. So for me, it's just like you have that legendary tournament, and every year you have these amazing matches. And this year has started off so strong.
Yeah.
Started off so strong. So far, we've at the time of this recording, 3 nights have already happened, and all I gotta say is we have definitely seen some breakout performances. Mm-hmm. Some people who have finally shown what their potential is, and then some people that really are kind of whack.
Yeah.
But let's get to it, man. Let's go. Let's dig into this, man, a little bit. Let's go.
Best of Super Juniors.
All right, man. Night 1 of the Best of the Super Juniors in Sendai Sun Plaza Hall. Man, what I was really impressed by was the fact that like they decided to open up the tournament with Tiger Mask against Taka Michinoku, and Taka Michinoku is a mouthpiece nowadays.
Yeah,
but he can still go.
Yeah, he was pulling out some things that you could see from Zack Sabre Jr. Like he was doing some of his stuff.
Yeah, like it's funny how like Zack Sabre Jr. now added the Michinoku driver to his move set.
Yeah.
Taka Michinoku is starting to add a couple of more submissions.
Yeah.
And you saw that against Tiger Mask. And, like I said, Tiger Mask, this iteration of Tiger Mask is just as good, if any, in my opinion. And they were going back and forth. And I will say, man, Tiger Mask has some of the stiffest kicks ever, man.
Yeah.
Like, geez. By the way, have you ever checked out Tiger Mask's Instagram?
No.
It's funny.
Is it? I'm going to have to check it out.
He's always joking around with Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
Like, they're always doing, like, these little skits about being masked wrestlers and stuff like that. It's hilarious.
I have to check it out, man.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, yeah, so it's just but yeah, this match between Tiger Mask and Taka Michinoku was a nice little bit of a warm up, a little bit of back and forth.
It was a lot of Taka just going for Tiger Mask's legs.
Yeah, he was trying to basically use a lot of submissions.
Yeah.
Of course, Tiger Mask found his way out of it, hit the Tiger suplex in 10 minutes, 58 seconds for the first match of the tournament. So Tiger Mask, has 2 points as of right now.
Yeah, didn't start off bad.
It was a nice.
It's good.
It was a nice one. And then the next one, I have a lot of thoughts on this one. The next match of the tournament was Titan versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Kanemaru, in fact, was dominating most of this match against Titan. In fact, Titan was actually a little underwhelming for me this time. I was like, I know you're good, but you're not showing me anything.
Yeah.
But Kanemaru was just savage, man.
Yeah, I think it messed him up when he unzipped or untied his mask.
Yeah.
And that's when I think everything started going bad for Titan.
Absolutely.
Because he probably couldn't even see that well, so...
He just didn't want to move around like he usually does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the thing with Kanemaru that I've noticed is that he's getting in tip-top shape.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he's getting cut. He's adding a little bit more size.
Yeah.
He's becoming more aggressive than he has been in the past. And I'm a little bummed out that he lost, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to see Kanemaru go a little further in this tournament because he's such a good heel figure.
Yeah. I think it's one of the ones that I said that I was going to do good on this one, but...
I mean, it's still early.
Yeah.
Still early. But, of course, Titan hit the Immortal against Yoshinobu Kanemaru in 11 minutes, 1 seconds for 2 points in the tournament. And now this next one was one of my also personal favorites of the tournament thus far. Still super early. Marty Scurll against Jonathan Gresham. Talk about two guys who are very technical, very versed in the British style. Of course, Scurll being from, the UK. Gresham spending a lot of time over there in the UK. It was really cool to see, and finally cool to see Marty Scurll back in New Japan.
With Villain Enterprises?
With Villain Enterprise.
And Brody King?
Brody King, yeah. Of course, Brody King is part of this tour. But the cool thing about this particular match is the fact that you're seeing Marty Scurll kind of back in at his best, in my opinion. And his best is technical wrestling with elements of being a heel and taking shortcuts in order to win. And it was a nice little bit of back and forth. I feel like Gresham was a little bit outclassed because Marty Scurll is, I think people know Marty Scurll's an amazing submission wrestler, but he still doesn't get enough credit for being an amazing submission wrestler because people are always so fixated on his association with the Elite, his history with the Bullet Club, his character. But Marty Scurll is a damn good grappler.
He is. With the Bullet Club, I think he was known a lot for his comedy stuff he did on the matches with Bullet Club.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't really see all the technical wrestling that he's really good at doing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that people don't know that. I think people are aware. I just think he doesn't get enough credit sometimes. Which this match was definitely a highlight of how great Marty Scurll is on the mat.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course, he hits him with the Black Plague, one of his newer finishers that he's doing, like a double underhook side suplex.
Yeah.
And there you go, Marty Scurll with 2 points. And now this next match.
Ooh, I think the best one so far.
Man, 100%. If Marty Scurll and Jonathan Gresham was my number 2 for thus far.
Yeah.
The one thing I love about pro wrestling is that, people talk about moments or matches that kind of make somebody's career, or it's a breakout moment.
Yeah.
Like when you think about breakout moments, what's something that you think of a wrestler? It's like, that's the moment where he went to the next level, or that's the moment where he went from down here to up there, or whatever. What's one of the first things in pro wrestling history you think, that's a moment where he broke out?
Ooh, man, you put me on the spot. In New Japan or anywhere? Anywhere? Oh, wow. You go first.
I think of 3 off the top of my head. Breakout moment. And they said it doesn't necessarily mean the breakout moment has to be, they're a main eventer. It just means like the moment where they definitely broke to another level. First thing I think of is Stone Cold Steve Austin bleeding all over the mat at WrestleMania against Bret Hart, where in the middle of that match, Bret Hart goes from being a face to a heel. Yeah. And Stone Cold goes from being a heel to a face, where everybody had sympathy for Stone Cold because he was bleeding. He wouldn't tap out. He's in the middle of the ring of that sharpshooter, and he passes out from pain. That right there, I feel like changed his career. There was several other moments in Stone Cold Steve Austin's career, but that was one of them. Or, for example, Kenny Omega, the moment that he turned on AJ Styles and became kind of like the unspoken leader of the Bullet Club, that was the first step into this trajectory of Kenny Omega becoming this megastar. And a lot of people can say that it was the moment that he went toe-to-toe against Okada for the first time for the IWGP belt 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That moment defined his career to that next level, where he went from being a popular guy to being a fucking star, you know? But it all started with Omega turning on AJ Styles, and it was that slow build, that slow push. And, you know, you think of moments like that, or you think of matches like that, you know, that make somebody's career or that elevates them to the next level.
Oh, I just thought of one. Ospreay versus Ricochet, that match that everyone talked about.
The first time when it was all over ESPN, it was all over the internet. It broke the internet. Exactly. That moment, that match put Ospreay on the map. I mean, everyone who was in wrestling knew how great Ospreay was.
Yeah.
But that just gave him even more, you know, popularity for both Ricochet and for Ospreay, especially Ospreay, in my opinion, because I feel like after that, Ospreay had like an upwards career trajectory in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, this is my long way of saying that this next match of Roppongi 3K against Shingo Takagi of Los Ingobernables de Japón was a classic match through and through. And there's always been hints throughout the year that Sho and Shingo were going to basically at one point collide in a singles match. Because they would, in tag matches, they would always get in each other's faces, try to overpower each other, who can out clothesline the next guy.
Yeah.
You know, they would just talk a lot of trash. And even backstage comments, they would always directly talk about each other. So this is the first time that they were actually met in like a singles match where it matters in a tournament.
It's a great match.
And this, absolutely. And the beauty about this match was that it showed you how great Shingo is, but more so this time, it showed you how great Sho is going to be.
Yes, sir. And I prefer him this way without Yo.
Exactly.
Personally.
Yeah. And like I said, we've talked about this, that Roppongi 3K is cool, it's fun, but if anybody's going to be the breakout star, we always said it was going to be Sho.
Yeah.
And this was his breakout moment. I think this match, if this doesn't show the New Japan guys, the New Japan, you know, booking committee, whoever's booking Jado and whoever else, shows you that Sho definitely deserves a singles push in the junior division for the junior title, for the junior belt at some point in the near future.
I think the commentary said it best, that it's this guy's a future.
Exactly. This match was his breakout, his first breakout moment.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, wrestlers have different milestones in their career, you know, that define their career. Like, I mean, not to use this example, I don't care for the guy, but Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. Hulk Hogan becoming a heel, starting the NWO. Those are defining moments in a career. This is, I think, his first defining match in his very young career. This match was a lot of back and forth, a lot of kickouts. I mean, Shingo Takagi hit the Noshigami on Sho, and even hit 2 pumping bombers, and Sho kicked out of all three. Yeah,
and that's a very stiff move.
It's a very stiff.
When he hits it, it's like, oh man, this guy's dead.
Yeah, and the one thing I can't emphasize enough about Shingo Takagi that I love is he doesn't have like the craziest, fanciest moveset, all these crazy power bombs and Death Valley drivers or 450 moonsaults or whatever.
Yeah.
Shingo Takagi is one of the few people I've seen who can make a clothesline and a body slam and a suplex. Simple, basic moves look
really good,
devastating.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, like I said, the most flashy move I think he has in his arsenal is, you know, Rise of the Dragon and the Noshigami, which are very creative moves, but everything else in his arsenal is very simple and to the point, and he puts so much emphasis and power in his movements, like he makes it count. And then you have Sho, who I think for the past year has been trying to find his footing with Roppongi 3K as himself, has always stepped up to Shingo and has always challenged him every time. And this match took Shingo to the limit. I mean, even though Shingo has lost the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles with with Bushi in the past, he has never personally been pinned. And this was the closest that you've seen Shingo get pinned. And Sho showed off his power. And you know, the one thing I love to see Sho is that Sho started to show off his martial arts and Brazilian jiu-jitsu technique towards the end of the match, where he started to kind of focus on Shingo's arm. And even on Instagram today, Shingo had his arm wrapped, and he said, you know, it's like, I can't lift today. You know, I can't lift today because of that match last night. And it's just, Sho was going toe-to-toe with a guy who dominated Dragon Gate for the better part of a decade. And like I said, it was nice to see Sho step out of that pretty boy aspect of his character.
It was awesome. He came out with different entrance music, different gear, black hair,
different attitude.
Different attitude. This was an awesome show. I want to see more of this guy.
Exactly. In fact, I think he doesn't need Yo to be with him anymore. I think this is his breakout moment. Go with it.
Yeah, Yo's keeping him down.
Exactly.
Get away from that.
And you know, we'll definitely go and talk about Yo a little bit later in the podcast. But with this, in my opinion, was a breakout moment. Like, and that's one thing I love about pro wrestling is that when you have that breakout moment, it's like, as a fan, you're like, that's it right there. He just hit that next level. Like, I don't look at, after that match, I don't think anybody, because I know a lot of people for a long time, even on the roster and on commentary, and even as fans, they still looked at Roppongi 3K as they're young lions that are still trying to figure themselves out. They have characters, they have gimmicks, but they're still figuring it out.
Like little babies.
Yeah, like they're young. They're so young. Showed after this, I don't look at him as a guy trying to find his place anymore. He just found it. And beautiful match, man. Just hard hitting, back and forth, false finishes, great ring psychology, perfect selling. The one thing I can't emphasize is that Shingo sold that arm so well. Yeah. Sho also sold the fact that he was getting, just ass handed to him, but would just was so stubborn and would not stay down. So of course, Shingo Takagi with Last of the Dragon, or excuse me, I said Rise of the Dragon earlier, but with his Last of the Dragon, DVD sit out finisher, pins Sho at 25 minutes 7 seconds. My God, what a match. So far, the best match of the tournament and a match of the year contender for me.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
OMG.
Seriously, I was watching this match and I was starting to get that feels of like what it was like watching Okada and Omega.
Yeah.
Like the first time. I was like, fuck.
Was that good? It was surprisingly not the main event.
But they were the main event.
Yeah.
Because following that was Dragon Lee and Taiji Ishimori, which, don't get me wrong, this match was great as well. I mean,
yeah, it was all right.
I can't emphasize that Taiji Ishimori and Dragon Lee definitely have chemistry. They definitely do. And there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of Taiji Ishimori trying to basically counter Dragon Lee's speed. But when you follow something like that, Sho and Shingo Takagi, you're not going to follow that. There's no way in hell. Like, I don't care how good you guys are. And Dragon Lee is awesome.
Yeah.
And Taiji Ishimori is awesome. And this is kind of like almost kind of like an impromptu rematch of the IWGP junior heavyweight title match that they had early on. But you can't follow a match like that.
Yeah, it's hard. I think Dragon Lee felt a little bad because I felt kind of like what you said about Titan earlier. He kind of seemed like he was holding back a little bit.
Yeah, perhaps he was. What do you think he was?
I think he's just trying to. I think him and Titan, since they're traveling and everything, and then all the days, maybe they're not used to that. All the days of wrestling, they're just trying to keep themselves healthy, I think.
I mean, the one thing that it does suck for a lot of the foreign wrestlers is that they have to travel back.
I don't know.
So, I mean, that might have been, working against Dragon Lee, jet lag. But, of course, Taiji Ishimori hit the bloody cross against Dragon Lee. Close match. But even when I was watching this match, all I could think of was like, damn, Sho versus Shingo killed it.
That was way too good.
Way too good. And the thing is, like, he's so young. It's like he's so young and he's so good.
Yeah.
I can't emphasize how great that was. But then all great things must come to an end and we have to look towards the future. Now, next night number 2 of Best of the Super Juniors, also at the Sendai Sun Plaza Hall. The first match of the night for the tournament was Ren Narita, young lion who was replacing Flip Gordon, who apparently had some difficulties getting into the country.
Yes, passport
visa issues. So Ren Narita steps in against Suzuki Gun's hired gun of Doki, who apparently he's been recruited by Taichi, and this match went exactly as I thought it was. Granted, Ren Narita was like trying Like when he hit that high bridge suplex, belly to belly suplex, I keep thinking when he hits that, that's it. Doki's gonna get pinned, and Doki sold it really well. That Ren Narita was like, coming close to kicking his ass, but then Doki would just go in there. And the one thing I love about Doki, he's not fancy.
Yeah,
he was a brawler. I love that double stomp that he does. He just really lays into that double stomp on Ren Narita, and
did a crazy split too. Like Narita was trying to go towards him, and then he did a split, and then Narita fell to the outside of the ring.
Yeah,
I'm not sure you saw that. That was a little crazy. That was cool.
That was really cool. And the thing is, like, there was nothing fancy about this match, but it really showed that Ren Narita is hungry.
Yeah,
he's super hungry.
Yeah, even though he was getting pulverized. Yeah, this guy was getting destroyed, Narita. But
he had a lot of heart, and there was a couple of times where he got some really close falls, especially when he finally hit that high arch belly to belly suplex that he loves to use. But I didn't think Ren Narita was going to win, but Doki definitely sold it really well. That, oh shit, like this young lion might pin me. But Doki, there's something about him I like, man. I like that he's not fancy.
Yeah,
he's like, he just goes in there and just beats your ass. He just wants to brawl and
wants to get his metal pipe, hit you with it at the end.
Yeah, exactly. The way he hit that was violent as hell. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about Doki is there seems to be this storyline that they're building where Doki's coming back to Japan after basically struggling and starving and going through a lot of hardships while deciding to go wrestle in Mexico for the past 10 years. And he says, like, I'll basically just fuck everybody that got to train in Japan for being spoiled. You get to have your hot meals and top training facilities, but I struggled and I hustled in Mexico while you guys were being pampered. So it's kind of like he has like a chip on his shoulder against all Japanese wrestlers that went through with the Young Lion system or who got to train in Japan instead of going elsewhere.
Yeah, so, be a good addition for Suzuki-gun.
Exactly. And then, of course, this next match, Rocky Romero against Robbie Eagles. Finally, like I said, for the longest time, we've said that like Robbie Eagles has kind of been underwhelming.
Yeah.
This match, no. He performed so well. I will give it to Robbie Eagles. Finally, I got to see the hype of Robbie Eagles. And the one thing I will say that Robbie Eagles, much like Rocky Romero, he is very versatile. Finally, I get to see what he's made of. He definitely used some of his high flying techniques. Definitely was all about trying to concentrate on Rocky Romero's leg and stuff like that. And it's just like, finally, I got to see what Robbie Eagles is made of. And I can't emphasize how great Rocky Romero truly is with how diverse his offense is as well. And in fact, the one thing I found really interesting is that a lot of his movesets, they said that, that's definitely the influence of the original LA Dojo. That's the original LA Dojo, because a lot of the moves that he was using are moves that you see Shinsuke Nakamura use and Bryan Danielson use, or Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
A lot of the kick, the style, the way he kicks, the way he utilizes his arm bars on Robbie Eagles. So I often forget that Rocky Romero, like I said, I mean, when you had that match against Bandito at Ring of Honor last year, and then I always forget that Rocky Romero, as much of a mouthpiece he is and as much of a great commentary guy he is, he definitely knows how to put people over. And he did such a phenomenal job with putting Robbie Eagles over. And Robbie Eagles did a fantastic job. Finally, I see the hype. I'm like, okay, I see why people think Robbie Eagles is great.
Yeah.
And I love that how he uses a 450 splash to not hit Rocky Romero's body, but uses the 450 to concentrate on his leg.
Oh, yeah, that is cool. That's different.
Like he doesn't, it's like everyone thinks, okay, you hit a 450, you land on top of him. No. Yeah. He aims for the leg, which is super cool. I mean, and Robbie Eagles seems to be a very versed submission wrestler in his own right as well. So kudos to Robbie Eagles. Hit the Ron Miller special at 13 minutes 55 seconds against Rocky Romero, and he advances with 2 points.
Dos puntos.
Now, this next match was definitely a highlight also of the tournament.
It was good.
Yeah, Bandito against El Fantasmo. Now, you said that you were kind of skeptical about El Fantasmo, and then this match kind of definitely.
Yeah, this changed me. I'm liking this guy now.
Yeah, like I've seen I've seen some of his work in Rev Pro and in other indie shows, and the thing is, he had a phenomenal ladder match against David Starr for the Rev Pro Cruiserweight belt, and it was awesome, super awesome. But I wanted to see how he was going to handle himself in New Japan in this tournament, and him and Bandito just had a lot of back and forth, a lot of trash talk.
Yeah.
Phantasmo is really good at being a heel and going out and antagonizing the audience, antagonizing his opponent. Even the beginning of the match, like he was going to look like he was going to shake Bandito's hand, and then flips him off, and then Bandito just lost it and just started attacking him. But awesome back and forth.
Yeah, they could do the same moves. They were just trying to one up each other. Like the one did like a flip or something, and the next did the same one. Yeah,
exactly. And of course, the chain wrestling in the very beginning was really awesome. Yeah, you know. And the one thing I was a little disappointed that Bandito lost. Mm-hmm. You know, he seems to be on a bit of a losing streak as of late. I kind of want to see Bandito win some gold. Yeah, and win some opportunities. But El Phantasmo,
somebody to watch on this tournament.
Exactly, with his CR2, the 12 minutes and 12 seconds. Got the pinfall. Awesome match. Keep an eye out on both Bandito and El Phantasmo. But great addition to the Bullet Club of El Phantasmo. He's also just a cocky, smug shit. Which I like that in a heel. He's cocky, he's smug. And then, of course, this next match between the aerial assassin Will Ospreay against Bushi of LIJ. Now, this was definitely a match of Will Ospreay kind of selling that neck, where Bushi definitely concentrated and tried to attack the neck. A lot of counter wrestling between these two guys.
Yeah, it seemed like he was gonna. Well, for a while, I thought he was gonna lose. Like the commentary was saying, Ospreay does always pretty bad on tournaments. Like he always loses his first matches, but he was able to, come through.
Absolutely. And I think even Will Ospreay even said after this match that he wants to be the first to hold both the junior and the heavyweight belt. Yeah. We'll see if that's even allowed in New Japan. Yeah. But of course, he hits the Stormbreaker on Bushi after hitting him with the hidden blade. I noticed this time when he used the hidden blade that he kept the elbow pad on, probably for good reason. You don't want to have another moment where he knocked Ibushi out.
Oh yeah, that looked
flat on his ass.
Yeah,
absolutely. But it was an entertaining match. It was a fun match. I expect no less from Will Ospreay and Bushi, both awesome talents. And then finally, the next match, the main event of the night, which was Ryusuke Taguchi against Yo of Roppongi 3K. Now, here's the thing. Taguchi is a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah.
Yo is like I said, let me just point this out before I get into my criticism.
Well, before you say that,
okay,
let me just say something real quick.
Sure.
I didn't like this match at all.
Why?
It was like both of these guys are, to me, a little overrated. To me.
There was a point in time, and I was going to get to this, is Ryusuke Taguchi from like 2000, like 5 to 9.
Yeah.
He was considered one of the best in the world. He was considered one of the best in the world. And I think as he got a little bit older, he decided to kind of be more comedic about his wrestling, just to try something different and get over. And it got him over.
Yeah.
And he can go. I'm not saying Ryusuke Taguchi is a bad wrestler. No, absolutely not. He's a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah, he is.
Yo, considering that Yo is very young in his career still, Yo is also a strong wrestler. You could tell that he knows how to work. And Yo did a good job. For what it was a decent match.
Yeah.
But that's just it. It was a decent match. It was a good match. I mean, granted, it's better than anything you're ever going to see on fucking Monday night.
Yeah, it was still better than that. Or maybe it was just that I was tired when I was watching it. No. It was late at night, but still, it didn't do. I don't know. It didn't do it for me.
Same here. It was just it was good. It was solid.
Yeah, for a main event.
For a main event, no. For the main event, I would have done Will Ospreay and Bushi or Bandito versus El Phantasmo instead.
Yeah.
Hell, I would have even done Robbie Eagles against Rocky Romero, which was probably my favorite of the night. But the thing is with Yo, he wrestled a solid match. He wrestled a good match. I'm not saying Yo sucks. He doesn't suck. But the thing is, when your tag team partner has that phenomenal performance the night before, you better step up, and he did not step up. Yeah. And I don't know necessarily if it's because he just doesn't have that kind of chemistry with Taguchi or whatever else, but I just kind of feel like Yo, he showed up to work, he did his job.
Yeah.
But Sho showed up to work and demanded a fucking promotion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a difference, and I don't know if it's just different chemistry, different wrestlers. Maybe I'd be better off to say what I have to say when Yo goes against Shingo Takagi, or if Ryusuke Taguchi goes against.
Hopefully, I mean, with this match, I saw that he's underperforming compared to, like you just said, with Sho, because from wrestling Dentaku, you could see in a little bit of Sho's face, like in interviews, like he made a face on Yo, like, oh man, seriously, I'm with this guy? Like that kind of a face.
So you think they're hinting at a split?
And it's probably going to take a while, but I think so.
I think after that performance from last night, the previous night, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
It's keep the 3K thing going, when they need to do it, but definitely let them branch out.
Yeah.
But this match was decent, and that's the problem, is that you have so many amazing performers on this tournament that I think everybody's I think not only are people competing against each other, you know, in their individual matches, people are competing against other matches. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, we just killed it out there. Your turn. And some people can deliver and some people, you know, can't. I just felt like that didn't quite deliver.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But, you know, it'd be what it be, and it is what it is. And then on to night number 3 at the Aomori Martial Arts Hall. Now, the cool thing is I also want to point out before we get into the tournament is that every time Juice Robinson has been coming out lately, have you noticed that
that video with that guy?
Video package.
Yeah, I don't know who
do you think that is?
I don't know. I keep thinking to myself, like, I'm thinking all of the wrestlers are left with everybody signing to different places. I can't think of anybody else that's still left.
I can't think of anybody. And what's with the fascination with knives?
Yeah.
Switchblade, and now this guy with like this big blade and a leather jacket. It's like, okay, try something else, man. Like,
yeah, because Robbie Eagles came out with like leather jackets, and then Phantasmo too, but with lights, and now you have this guy
who has this like punk rock like gimmick thing.
Yeah. Like, the video's kind of cool.
The video's cool, but I'm like, enough of the fucking knives and leather jackets already, man. Like, do something else.
Oh, and Jericho had a leather jacket, and then...
There you go.
Yeah.
So stop. Not everyone can get a leather jacket. Not everyone can carry around a knife, okay? But I'm really thinking, like, who?
Yeah.
Like, who? Like, I really couldn't tell you, like, off the top of my head. You know? It's crazy.
Anybody in the indies? No? That you could think of?
No. I really don't know.
That could fit that gimmick. I can't think of anybody.
Jimmy Havoc, but Jimmy Havoc in New Japan? Yeah. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? It could.
Since Jericho just did it?
I mean, Jericho did it.
Yeah.
Why not? But I don't know. It's strange. But anyhow, third night of tournament action, Jonathan Gresham against Taka Michinoku. Now, Taka, once again, falls victim to yet another wrestler that outclassed him. I love that octopus hold that Jonathan Gresham used. Of course, you know, he made Taka Michinoku tap out at 9 minutes, 28 seconds. Really short match.
Yeah, it was a short one.
Short match. It was pretty much Jonathan Gresham pretty much out wrestling Taka.
You know, let me ask you this on Gresham.
Yeah.
I think sometimes his comedy kind of hurts him a little bit, because I think he could be a beast like Zack Sabre Jr., but his comedy sometimes he doesn't do it for me sometimes. Like,
he appeases to the crowd a little too much. I agree. I feel like in order for Jonathan Gresham to go to the next level, I think he needs a mean streak.
Yeah.
Like, just go in there and just out wrestle and just beat somebody's ass, you know, or just make him fucking tap out. Like, I want to see him and Zack Sabre Jr. in the future again.
Yeah.
You know? And of course he did. He won the match, but I agree. I'm 100% with you. Jonathan Gresham should focus less on pandering and being a super babyface and just go in and just fucking choke people out, make people
He has
tap.
it in him.
Absolutely. He has the skills. He's probably pound for pound one of the greatest mat wrestlers, just besides Zack Sabre Jr., who I think right now is pound for pound the greatest mat wrestler in the world. Probably one of the greatest wrestlers in the world now that has not won, a proper world title other than, the whatever titles. I'm talking about, like, he hasn't won the IWGP heavyweight belt yet. Who knows? And then up next, Tiger Mask against Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
Kanemaru again, man.
Lost with the neck lock from Tiger Mask. Tiger Mask is, performing really well. Like I said, the thing is, man, with Kanemaru, I want to see him get pushed. He's such a good heel.
My conspiracy theory on this match is that I think that Suzuki-gun is just trying to, just hurt Tiger Mask some way, because he did the same thing Taka did the previous night or 2 nights ago, which was just go for his legs, and he was just trying to destroy Tiger Mask, and he didn't even care how he did it.
Yeah, true.
That's what I think.
So basically, they're just kind of like aiming at Tiger Mask.
Yeah.
Because I know like Suzuki-gun has been kind of doing this whole thing where they're fucking with legends,
Yeah.
Like they're fucking with legends, they're constantly bickering with Liger, especially with the Minoru Suzuki, bickering with Liger, and then of course them fucking with Tiger Mask and stuff like that. And so it doesn't. I think that's the whole game plan. I think at some point Tiger Mask is going to sell that leg.
Yeah.
That he can't perform as well as he usually does because his leg is hurt.
Yeah. Or Liger is going to get out of commentary, go help him or something.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. Then up next, Titan versus Shingo Takagi. Now, this was not a 25-minute epic.
No.
This was a very, very, very short 10 minutes. Shingo, of course, hit Last of the Dragon on Titan. And Titan now is 1-1 with only 2 points. Shingo with, of course, 4 points. like I said, I firmly believe Shingo might be the one to take this whole tournament.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. You said that before the tournament started that he was going to go, and I think I'm fully in on that now, because on this match with Titan, Shingo, when Titan was doing in offense, like Shingo was just like letting him like, give me something else. Like, is this it? Like, yeah. So I think you're right.
Absolutely. Shingo is a beast, man.
Yeah.
And up next, Marty Scurll against Taiji Ishimori. Both who have had and have associations with the Bullet Club. Mm-hmm. Of course, Marty Scurll now the representative and leader of Villain Enterprises against the current incarnation of the Bone Soldier. Now, the one thing, it was definitely a good match, a clashing of styles.
Yeah, it was a little 50-50, right?
It was a little even. A little 50-50. Scurll, of course, trying to break that finger, trying to really wear Taiji Ishimori. I think Taiji Ishimori definitely had the speed advantage. Uh-huh. Of course, hit him with the Bloody Cross at 22 minutes, 21 seconds for the pinfall. So Marty Scurll gets his first loss of this tournament. Taiji Ishimori still undefeated thus far. And then finally, Dragon Lee against Sho.
Dragon Lee versus Sho. Another good match from Sho.
Like I said, this is another example that Sho is really breaking out. And of course, it bums me out that Sho had to lose.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody's looking at Sho as like, oh, okay, he sucks. It's like people think, okay, Sho is just right there to starting to break out. I mean, he had a breakout moment, 2 nights before. Mm-hmm. And then now he's going against, Dragon Lee, who's the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Great back and forth. And the thing that is that I think even though Sho is losing, he's getting the crowd behind him. Not just because of sympathy, but because Sho is that damn good.
Yeah.
But Dragon Lee was better tonight.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have him lose again. I mean, he's a cruiserweight champion, so you can't have him lose. It would make him look bad a little bit, right?
Yeah. Junior heavyweight champion.
Junior weight. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Too many damn weight classes, man.
Yeah.
But no, man, so far, like I said, this tournament has been phenomenal. I am excited. I am super excited for what the rest of the tournament holds. Of course, there is as at the time of this recording, there's a continuation tomorrow.
Yeah, the 16th on Thursday. Yeah.
Yep, and then of course there's Saturday and Sunday.
On Sunday. Then
they have 2 days off. And like I said, this tournament goes on for a little while, man. It's almost kind of like a mini G1. And in fact, I think it was even Kevin Kelly that even commented on the fact that this is the largest Best of Super Juniors tournament in history. I think with 20 competitors? Mm-hmm. 20 competitors. And let me just also add, I like the fact that Caprice Coleman is the third man on commentary.
He's good.
He's good.
Makes it interesting.
I feel like the one thing that I like is that he brings that excitement, that color commentary excitement, which I know that a lot of times they kind of, play around with different people. Kevin Kelly's always a constant. And then, of course, you have always Chris, who is, of course, another English speaker, but someone who's super familiar with the product. Mm-hmm. Which I like having him there because he kind of gives you some background info,
like for history
a lot of history info, basically for a lot of foreign fans that may or may not know.
Yeah.
What's going on or the importance of things or the history or background of some of these wrestlers and what they've gone through. And then you have, one thing that always makes wrestling fun is when you have a good, exciting color commentator. And Caprice Coleman has done a phenomenal job.
Did a great job.
And I hope we see him more. I know he's usually part of the Ring of Honor announce team.
Yeah.
But I really hope we see more of Caprice Coleman in New Japan doing color commentary because I think it made it that much more exciting.
Yeah, he added a lot to it with his commentary. I liked him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, instead of just leaving Kevin Kelly by himself saying, "Oh my God," but he added some other something to it.
And like I said, it's super hard to be a one-man commentary team. I mean, Joey Styles and ECW did it.
Yeah.
And beautifully, might I add. But the thing is that I've always been a fan of three-man commentary teams. Mm-hmm. Of three-mans, and it's just, I always feel like what I like is the guy making the commentary, calling the match, the guy who has the info, who's knowledgeable, and then the color commentator. It's kind of like when back then you had Mike Tenay, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
I love that commentary team. I don't think that team gets enough credit. And of course you had the classic Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. Gorilla Monsoon would call the matches. Heenan would be the color commentary. But I think another thing that because I'm such a big wrestling nerd, is that I always like to have somebody that can also chime in with info. And this is where I love Chris's chiming in. I love Caprice adding the color commentary. I think this needs to stay. This totally needs to stay.
We need a third guy.
I know, exactly. So for any of you guys who listen and who are out there, please, if you want to give it a shot, we need a third person. Guy, girl, it doesn't matter. As long as you are familiar with New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and always keep up to date with those promotions and are a big fan of independent wrestling, please email us. Where can they find us on social media, man?
On Facebook, on Tiger Driver Radio, Instagram, Tiger Driver Radio, on Twitter, Tiger Driver Rad1. Or you can email us, tigerdriverradio@gmail.com.
Exactly, man. Like I said, email us, hit us up, let us know. We just definitely want a third person. We think that would help. So on that note, this tournament's been awesome. I'm excited to see how the rest of the tournament forms out and develops into what happens with the future championship opportunity against Dragon Lee. But on that note, we have other exciting news to talk about, man. So let's give them the news. Let's give them the bee's knees.
Bee's knees.
That everybody stays calm at the current moment, for there is a zombie apocalypse currently happening on the West Coast. Do stay inside and do not go out under any circumstances. If any zombies happen to get into your house, shoot them in the head or remove the head from the brain. We insist, do not leave your houses. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Let's see it.
Oh man! And the one thing I told you, man, is like earlier I said, man, it's just wrestling. We're in another golden age. I definitely cannot emphasize that enough.
When you have your kids like 50 years from now, that you tell them like you were part of this, it's gonna be a good story.
I mean, I wasn't part of it, I wasn't the one making the calls.
Well,
we got to experience it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's like when I talk to other wrestling fans who might be a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, they talk about the Attitude Era. It's like, dude, I remember that like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like I was in front of that TV switching back and forth.
Yeah.
And tape trading. Because the concept of tape trading is so foreign to fans nowadays, because everything's on YouTube, everything's downloadable, DVDs. Back then it was all about VHS tape trading. Speaking of tape trading, the one thing I have always talked, I've had such any Mark wrestling fan out there, especially from the tape trading era, and I've talked about it several times on this show, is that the WWE Network finally released a mini documentary about the infamous Tom McGee Bret Hart match.
Yeah.
Yeah, they finally they put it on the network.
That's cool.
Yeah, they put it on the network.
Got to watch it?
Yeah, I did, and we've heard notes online about it, about like what people think, like, oh, anybody who was there saying like, oh, Tom McGee looked amazing in this match, but then he fell off and he sucked and he eventually got dropped and did a couple tours in All Japan to get better, but it just never panned out for him. Mm-hmm. Seeing the documentary, they did a really great job in building the folklore around how Tom McGee at one point in his very young career, after that Bret Hart tryout match, like I said, this tryout match was lost because it's like, well, it was never televised, it was never supposed to be televised, it was just something to kind of look at Tom McGee. It's like, okay, let's see what this kid got. Let's see what this kid has. And if he looks good, we'll sign him. And Bret Hart says, yeah, what I did before the match was say, all right, what are your 3 best moves? Tell me. And those 3 moves, we're going to sell the hell out of those.
Does he have any?
The arm drag, the back flip, and the sunset flip. And he says, all right, those are your 3 best moves. We're going to build around all 3 of those moves, and I'm going to make you look good. By the end of this, dude, you're going to get fucking signed.
Yeah.
And because of that, Tom McGee got fucking signed and I watched the match, and Bret Hart made him look that damn good. Like any mistake, like there's a couple of times where you see in the match where Tom McGee didn't quite sell as well as he should, or didn't quite, he kind of lacked certain movements that I feel like his footwork was a little awkward,
a bit more finesse.
Yeah, a little bit. And it's weird because he was also a gymnast too. You would think he'd have a better control of footwork, but he didn't.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Bret Hart found a way to hide everything that was super green and super like not good about Tom McGee, and highlighted everything that was great about Tom McGee. And the match, was a little bit of back and forth, and Bret Hart sold the shit out of, like this one Irish whip where Tom McGee throws, Bret Hart into the corner, chest first into the turnbuckle, and, Bret Hart just bounces off real hard, like, oh shit, he knocked the wind out of Bret Hart. And they did some little bit of chain wrestling on the ground, and then Tom McGee gets up off his feet, and gets out of an arm bar and then does a backflip, and then as Bret Hart runs towards him after the backflip, then Tom McGee hits an arm drag, and it's a textbook beautiful. I mean, it's a good arm drag, but Bret Hart sells it like, oh man, damn, he has me. Yeah. And it's like, fuck, like, yeah, like if I was a fan watching, I'm thinking, dude, Tom McGee's the shit. And then, he has his matches against Ted DiBiase and so on and so forth. And you realize that he's just not that fucking good. But the documentary definitely did a great job on building the folklore and letting people know, like, this is why this tape was sought after so much, because this guy was crowned as the next Hulk Hogan by Vince McMahon. Mm-hmm. He's like, okay, that's my next guy. When Hulkamania dies out, that's the guy I'm going to go with. Lo and behold, it's not the guy you went with at all. Bret Hart ended up being your guy. That kind of kept the company afloat in the early 90s when WWE was struggling. And it's funny how that ended up being. They were looking at Tom McGee. Meanwhile, you had your next star in Bret Hart. And it just shows you how fucking great of a technical wrestler and how great of a wrestler Bret Hart is to make someone that piss poor look that damn good, because he did.
That bad.
So, yeah, it was that bad. But the thing is, like, they actually interviewed Tom McGee at the end, because a lot of people were saying, like, I don't know what happened to him. He's not involved in wrestling, and he has no sour feelings about it. Huh. He's like, I'm just really grateful for the opportunity that I had at the time, and there's a lot of triumphs in life and disappointments in life, and I'm just thankful that I got a chance. And I'm thankful that Bret Hart made me look that good. Like, I can't thank him enough for making me look that good. And I'm thankful just for the experience. It was an awesome experience. Yeah. So at least he has like a positive outlook on it. Because, some people would think, fuck, man, I could have been huge. It could have, whatever. And it didn't work out for me. No, Tom McGee seemed like he's at peace with it.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just thankful that he got to do it.
Yeah. And he's going to do Starcast now, right? I think.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow. So there you go. People wanted me. I mean, dude, you saw me. I even bought a Tom McGee t-shirt from Violent Miracle t-shirts off Instagram. Go check them out.
And then you met that lady that found the tape.
Yeah, I met the lady who found the tape, who was the one converting all of Bret Hart's matches. Because the thing is, when she was converting it to DVD, Bret was like, well, I don't need all these VHS. It's like, I'm trying to get rid of all these VHSs because it's taking up too much room. I'll just keep the tapes. I don't need them. That's why I have the DVD for. Yeah. So that's how it happened, And the funny thing is that, like, even Davey Boy Smith Jr. and of course, TJ Hart, or TJ Smith is, or if you believe his name, right? Like, yeah. But they both said, like, for years we'd go to Bret's house and be like, hey, you got that Tom McGee match? And Bret's like, yeah, I'll find it. Don't worry. And then, like, for years, like, Bret would just like say, yeah, I'll find it. I'll show it to you later. But it would just never happen. And then finally it happened when he decided to finally start archiving and condensing his wrestling library. So it was just kind of like, I don't know, serendipitous in a way. Yeah. It's fucking hilarious though, man. That's something, because me, I'm a fan of bad wrestlers too. Uh-huh. And this, like I said, it's like, I remember like a tape trading as a kid in the mid 90s, man. Like, I remember hearing about the Tom McGee match, but like, it was kind of like urban legend because there was no copies. And you would hear people say, oh yeah, I've seen the match, but not really many. I think maybe barely a handful of people actually saw it, and nobody had a fucking copy because it never made it online. It never made it into like, into websites or to mailing catalogs where you can order these VHS tapes, for wrestling. But it was a legend. It was like people heard about it. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of cool to finally fucking see that after years of kind of wondering, like, what the fuck is this Tom McGee thing about?
Yeah, they got lucky. It's talking about Double or Nothing in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. What is that?
I I don't know what that is.
What'd you do? I don't know. What'd you do?
It was supposed to be a Vegas sound.
Oh, man. Oh, like the slot machines.
Yeah. I see. Try it again.
Yeah, that sounds much better. Yeah, man. But I mean, hey, Tom McGee might actually finally have a chance to go out there and capitalize on this infamy and go out there to like different wrestling conventions and, make some money a little bit. So, hey, it kind of worked out for him.
It's good for him, yeah.
Absolutely. But to go from something as weird and obscure to that to, man, All Elite Wrestling has a TV deal in the fall on TNT Drama. I'm fucking excited.
It's going to be awesome.
People say, like, oh, this is going to be the Monday Night Wars again. I don't know if it's going to be like that per se, but I definitely think it's definitely going to light a fire.
It'll be a Friday Night Wars with SmackDown or something.
I don't know. Well, I mean, apparently they're going to be airing on
like Tuesdays or Wednesdays or something.
I think Tuesdays have been kind of like, when they're going to be airing. And the thing is that, like, the one thing I have to admire about this whole AEW thing is the fact that they seem to be relying less on, we just take a bunch of ex-WWE guys that never got a chance and bring them over here. It's like they're actually trying to showcase new and up-and-coming talent and give them a fucking chance,
Yeah.
Which is, it's crazy because you guys, there's a lot of wrestlers that are going to be featured on Double or Nothing that have been kind of like internet and indie darlings or smart mark darlings, but it never got a chance to kind of shine here in America. I mean, the fact that Aja Kong, who's a legend in women's and Joshi Pro Wrestling in Japan and women's pro wrestling in Japan, is going to be on American soil on a major pay-per-view, that's fucking mind-blowing. Aja Kong. I mean, people talk about, the women's revolution in WWE. Japanese women's wrestling has been going on for quite some time in Japan, and Aja Kong is as synonymous with women's wrestling in Japan as someone as Stone Cold Steve Austin is to just pro wrestling here in America and even internationally. So, and then of course you have guys like Jack Evans and Angelico, who, Jack Evans has been kind of like a well-kept secret in Mexico, and he also did some stuff in Lucha Underground and a little bit of, moments in Ring of Honor in the early days. But, they got announced as the opponents for best friends of Chucky T and Trent Beretta. And
which is cool. They're gonna didn't BT either said I think somebody said that they were gonna put him with Jerry Lynn also, which is also someone who just started as well.
Jerry Lynn is gonna be a trainer for up and coming. And I like the fact that there seems to be this emphasis. I mean, yes, they have star power. Yes, they have Chris Jericho. Yes, you have Kenny Omega. You have Cody Rhodes. And there might be between now and the fall, when this TV deal finally takes off and we actually start seeing Wrestling Weekly. Yeah. Who's to say that, there's not going to be some other big name signings? We don't know that. There's always this weird, rumor that CM Punk might sign. He might sign.
CM Punk confirmed.
CM Punk confirmed. But, and then of course there's heavy, rumblings of, Dean Ambrose making his way over. And it's not to say that you shouldn't take some big names from the WWE or other promotions and bring them over if they want to come over. Sure. But I admire the fact that they seem to be emphasizing on taking new talent that have never had that big platform and giving them that platform. I would never thought I would see, Jimmy Havoc, an ultra-violent wrestler on cable. I never thought that I would see, years ago, I would see Kenny Omega on Monday on a weekly American TV show. Or I would never thought that the Young Bucks, when they were dominating PWG just a couple years ago and killing a Ring of Honor and killing New Japan, that now they have a platform where they're going to be on a nationally syndicated television show, and it's just, and of course they're signing, new talent left and right. I mean,
refs and everything.
Legendary Earl Hebner is going to be there as well. Jim Ross. It's like they're definitely, I think it's going to be really cool for them to me, it seems like they're combining new school and old school. They want to definitely take wrestling to where it's like definitely like, it's definitely like a sports approach to wrestling where victories matter, wins and losses do matter. And they want to give quality fucking wrestling. And I think there's a lot of fans out there who have been wanting quality. I mean, there's a lot of quality wrestling out there. I mean, there's so many, great promotions. But the thing is that, like, the one thing that I think the wrestling landscape has fucking lacked is the fact that there's wrestling that's viable. Like I said, it's been about nearly 20 years a little under 20 years where we've seen WCW or we've seen an alternative that was on a major network, you know, and then WWE has dominated for the past 2 decades. Now, I don't even necessarily think it's about like dominating anymore. It's just a matter of like, I think people just want something else, something new, something basically wrestlers that can go with the production value of a big company.
But it's accessible and you can watch. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, because unfortunately, you know, I feel like wrestling fans can also be fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Some wrestling fans are just like, oh, well, you know, if it's not on Monday, if it's not WWE, then why am I going to try? And then you have a lot of wrestling fans like us and other people and who really go out there and try to find good shit, which is why I think the indies have been blowing up these past couple of years. People want something else. And there's a lot of great, you know, content out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the roster is full of a combination of well-known guys on the indies, some brand new up-and-comers that no one's ever heard of, some legends. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a couple of other big names that are going to sign. But like I said, I think they're definitely doing a good job between signing brand new talent and giving them a platform to rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
And some guys that have made a name for themselves already, obviously with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega.
Yeah. Next week, man. It's going to be good.
Next week, Double or Nothing, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm fucking stoked.
Yeah.
I'm super fucking stoked. But, you know, another thing that's just to close this out that also provides a bit of difficulty with as many different promotions that are out there nowadays, and, you know, a lot of wrestling that's great. A lot of people are jumping between promotions now, you know, like Jimmy Havoc was signed to MLW now. He's part of AEW. MJF as well. MJF has also done, you know, other shows for other companies. You just saw that Jericho is in fact going to be working for New Japan as well as working for All Elite Wrestling. And then you run into problems that what just happened to Bea Priestley and Toni Storm. Now, for those of you that know, Bea Priestley is the girlfriend of Will Ospreay. She is, of course, Stardom's champion right now in the all-women's promotion in Japan. She is currently their champion. She just won that title. You know, awesome match against Kagetsu for that belt.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they were setting it up in that promotion to where Bea Priestley was going to go against Toni Storm, who has also been a regular in Stardom, but is also currently the WWE Women's UK champion. And they were going to have that match. And clearly, Bea Priestley just recently won this title. And I think it was supposed to go to where Bea Priestley was going to pin Toni Storm to retain the Stardom, you know, red belt, which is their biggest belt in the promotion. WWE put a kibosh to that, saying, no, we don't want someone working for AEW, which Bea Priestley is also signed to AEW, to pin Toni Storm, who is their champion. And I find that to be a little fucking funny and ironic, because with the sloppy writing and the sloppy consistency in WWE, wins and losses don't seem to matter.
Yeah.
Or storylines don't seem to matter, or consistency doesn't seem to fucking matter. So what, now it suddenly matters because somebody from AEW could very well pin your champion in WWE. Like, if we're talking old school, and if you actually gave a shit about, you know, consistency and championships and wins and losses, then I totally understand your logic. Yeah, hell yeah, you don't pin my fucking champion. But instead, Stardom had to basically switch it around. So now Toni Storm will be facing against another person. Toni Storm will be facing Kagetsu, and Bea Priestley will be defending against another person in Stardom. All because WWE doesn't want their champion to get pinned.
And the same thing with Undertaker for the whole Starcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like WWE decided to pull the Undertaker or offer him way more money.
Yeah. Which
just as of right now, it was announced that Undertaker and Goldberg are going to be wrestling in Saudi Arabia, which is a match I don't want to fucking see. Yeah. You know, maybe 20 years ago would have been like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Now, no. What's these two old motherfuckers going to do? Have like a 5-second match? It's not going to be good. But the thing is that, like, it's funny that for a big company that doesn't really emphasize on consistency and storylines anymore and wins and losses, they suddenly give a shit that their champion gets pinned. All right, so which one is it? Do you give a shit? Do you not give a shit? And if you do give a shit, how about you have that same fucking energy and make it interesting, so maybe I'll watch Monday nights again. Because right now I'm not. I haven't watched WWE in about a year and a half.
Yeah.
you know, and this is why I implore people to go out there and support other companies. And New Japan, exactly. And the thing is, I'm not saying that I'm anti WWE where I want a WWE to sink. No, I just want WWE to fucking
give me good stuff.
Give me good shit. Because I've seen what NXT has done. I've seen what New Japan can do. I've seen how MLW is growing. I mean, they just recently announced that Austin Aries is signed to the promotion. They have the Von Erich boys signed to the promotion, and the roster is slowly building up. They're doing more dates. Of course, AEW has a television deal. Possibilities are growing. And why do you think that is? I think people want something else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just funny to me that they would give a shit so much about their champion being pinned by someone else.
Yeah, they're the only ones that they don't want to collaborate with all the other promotions.
No, of course not. You know, it
sucks.
It's definitely like it's like I remember back in the 90s, there was a festival called the World Wrestling Peace Festival, and it was a festival in Los Angeles that featured wrestlers from New Japan Pro Wrestling, the War promotion, AAA, and ECW and WCW, and there was different wrestlers that were wrestling on this card, and it was like all these different combinations of different wrestlers that you don't usually would ever see under one umbrella. Yeah. And I think they offered WWE like, hey, do you want to give one or two guys to the show? Vince McMahon's like, nope, we don't want any part of it. It was an awesome show, but this is back in the 90s before, you know, there's recordings of this show, but I mean, it just comes to show you that they are definitely an island unto themselves. Be that as it may, they are a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar company, really. But why do you think ratings are dropping? Why do you think people are less invested?
It sucks. They don't have anything to show. Everybody got excited with this Bray Wyatt thing that just came out, and I mean, that's the only thing they have going on right now.
Exactly. And other things I should be excited about, I'm not.
Yeah.
But what I am excited about is AEW. I'm excited about watching the best of the Super Juniors because it's fucking awesome wrestling. Yeah. So I just, like I said, we've been on this tangent these past couple of weeks. But like I said, I just really emphasize and implore people to go support AEW when they finally, you know, have their next pay-per-view next month, and go support them in the fall when they have their first shows on TNT. It'll be kind of nice to watch TNT again.
Yeah.
You know? Exactly.
But good.
Yeah, exactly, man. But on that note, kids, hit us up on Instagram, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on email, whatever you guys want to do. And also, if you're interested in being our third man,
third woman,
third man, third day, we're friendly to all types. It don't matter if you're even if you're non-binary and you don't subscribe to a gender and you're not about the gender binary, fuck that too. Just come join us. If you like pro wrestling,
yeah,
just come hang out with us. Come talk.
It'd be fun.
Exactly, man. And on that note, peace. Enjoy pro wrestling.
Adios.